I'm gonna call you Mrs. Puss now. Mrs. Puss is so fluffy now. So better. Oh my God.
Let's go to Mrs. Puss.
Mrs. Puss.
No, it's okay in here. So let's follow Mrs. Puss.
Mrs. Puss.
Look, Emily was good.
I couldn't save.
Come on, Mrs. Puss. Let's go.
Mrs. Puss, don't go through there. It's too dangerous.
Mrs. Puss.
Sorry about this. But,
Ow.
Mrs. Puss. Oh my God, this hurts. Oh my God.
Fine.
Sort of does. Just got it out. Oh, there it is. Mrs. Puss. Get this stick. Whoa. Now, I noticed that. I didn't show that, sorry.
Wait, yes, Mrs. Puss.
Mrs. Puss, take the stick. It didn't do anything.
Mrs. Puss.
Mrs. Puss,
Mrs.
take the plant. It didn't do anything.
Mrs. Puss. Look, Mrs. Puss. Do you want to play with this leaf? Mrs. Puss.
Just play with the... Just play with the leaf and go. It's under there.
Mrs. Puss.
Mrs. Puss. Mrs. Puss.
Mrs. Puss.
Mrs. Puss, get out of the chair. It's bad for my video. Wait, you're already out of the chair. Oh, where is it going? Where you going, Mrs. Puss? Huh, Mrs. Puss? Huh?
Good, Puss.
Mrs. Puss? Mrs.
Puss.
Mrs. Puss? I didn't upload our last video because it just regained its fluff, its winter fluff. And I didn't show you in the car because it was boring. So, we brought down some beach house. And here it is. My friend's my dad's mom's friend's house. Mom's friend's an old man. Mom's friend's an old man. Mrs. Puss! It's going to do some rolling. I need to catch this on my video. No, it's doing double folding.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. Look. It's doing its business. It's rolling.
Don't use up too much battery.
Mrs. Puss, go through the leaves. I know. It's so fluffy.
Why were you like Affy?
Because I got prickled by the pricks.
Oh no. Mrs. Puss, be careful!
Mrs. Puss, don't get hurt. Don't stab your tail. Oh, I think it already did.
But
And then Mrs. Puss attacks. What if we threw a toy and it was like... What if we threw a toy and it was like...
Mrs.
Mrs. Puss.